Hi guys, it's me just listening again, and for this video, I shall be covering the 8th episode of the first season of Halo, and the name of the episode is called Allegiance. And yeah, this is one of the most questionable episodes I've ever seen on a TV show based on or any other work of fiction. And there's a reason why I'm dressed up like this, or I should say dressed down like this, because apparently when Dr. Halsey made the assumption that John Wilmington was the luckiest of all Spartans, there was a good reason for that, and it takes more context in this episode than, say, what you would expect for the games. Being that he was lucky in those games from a gameplay perspective, being combat oriented and lucky to survive and all this. But this episode proves he's lucky in other ways too, besides that. But let's get on with this, alright? Plus I've seen a few other little influences from other Halo media, which is I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of stupid. I mean, really stupid. But the action was nice, in more ways than one. So anyway, we get this little thing that's like a kind of like a recap of what happened in the previous episodes, even though I don't actually remember that the events that occur actually happening, even though it was fairly recently that I saw the episodes in question. But yeah, there's some parts in there where Dr. Halsey is in her office in Reach, in that main fortified city of Reach, and they call it Reach City. Now, I don't remember if they actually call the name of the city any particular name in the books or in the games, but Reach City sounds kind of stupid to me, being that it's kind of like naming a seat of the U.S. state within, like say Carson State for Carson State, or say New York City after Vermont, per se. It just doesn't sound right. Also, for the same matter, Cortana uses the same phrase as in the first Halo game. Be careful now, there were two of us in your head, remember? I don't think that she used the word head in the game, but it applies here too. So now let that slide for a minute. And there's also a thing where they don't explicitly use the phrase bringing the fight to the Covenant, but in Halo number 3, the UNSC does take the offensive and does be more offensive with the Covenant. Plus, I also like the fact that they imply that there could be dialect or accents that cover the new language, which that could be a very big possibility, because like with China, there are like at least 8 or 10 different dialects for Chinese. Most of them are Cantonese and Mandarin respectively, and among many others, I'm sure. But the thing are they're unified in culture, but there are just so many of them, and so there can be regional differences in the way they say stuff. So the word what is free to mean to go, but I could just imagine it being like a southern version of it, like a what y'all or something around like that. It'd be kind of fun. That'd be like we would later find out that Senegalese accent was because of Maki. But anyway, they have a part in the show where they have Captain Key's talking with his daughter Miranda, and it's supposed to be like a big secret among the UNSC that Captain Halsey did snooze with this guy, and they made Miranda. So yeah, there's that. And let's see here. There's more discussion about whether or not Marquis is actually a real spy for the Covenant, or if she really did switch sides. And yeah, can't really beat around the bush that much, because beyond that weird table thing there with the same side to it, there's also a very weird and kind of awkward scene in which the Master Chief has more than your basic relations with Maki. Now I thought that it'd be I thought that the first time that they showed the Chief having sex with somebody would be with one of his fellow Spartans, especially with the girl with dyed red hair. I forgot her name. I think it normally begins with a C or K, because the sound that makes sense stuff. But Karen, something like that. Anyway, she's not the person that he makes love to. It turns out to be Maki, which is kind of a weird twist for this type of TV show. Because I feel it's very odd for non augmented human to have sexual relations with augmented, physically imposing character like John, even without the helmet on or his suit on. So it gets more like the same argument about why Lois Lane can have sexual relations with Superman, or say or Chi-Chi with saying like Goku or Bulma and Vegeta and the kind of thing. Because it's just so much. He's so big and massive, and I would assume that he's got more weight to him and everything else than the very human being, that he could easily damage her in more ways than your average sexual relation could go. Plus, I find that this whole thing was a little too clean for my liking. And let me explain for a moment. Because I'm assuming that both of these two people are virgins when they have sex for the first time on screen. So when you're a virgin, you have different you have no sexual experience. You might have read about it in a book or something, but these two people act like like that kind of thing is normal. Whereas if you're a virgin, you probably wouldn't know experience what's good, what's bad. how they like it, how you like it, and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit too professionally done. Plus, I find it very interesting that Cortana, which is supposed to be like a clone of Dr. Halsey's brain, is looking on in his room, looking on from the outside, looking in, and she saying to herself, I want that. I want that nice throbbing super soldier taking me, which goes to show that she's got more impulses of Halsey, the human element, than she would probably like to admit, because in this show she refers to that she actually likes the Spartan, and she, in books at least, she carries on like she admires the Spartans both physically and mentally, and that she takes more of a how should I put this, she takes some over from a guardianship type role, a mother type figure, to be more of a I love the bodies, the sculpted Olympian-esque physiques and that kind of thing. To be more like an admiring thrust, I want to bang that Spartan body. Almost like we would see from Vegeta and Goku's relationship, more like a friendly rivalry to be more of a comical type of admiring to I want to get with that Super Saiyan body. It's more like a fan fiction comical type thing, but still present. Anyway, let's see here, and that's really funny. Now, speaking of the funny moments, my key was would be assassin that he was hired by the Covenant to kill the Spartans and win the wars and that kind of thing, which is not present in books, by the way. But then he showed Maki actually taking her little nails in there, her one defense against the chief, where I can imagine that if they went for a full set of 5 fingernails or 10 fingernails versus just the one, I'm sure she would have been a lot more successful. But they show her ripping on a nail, and it's funny because they never actually show her bloody finger afterwards, just during that one scene in the bathroom sink. I would imagine that it'd be a lot more effective if she has like a bomb or some kind of weapon, some kind of firearm to shoot the chief in the back of the head or something. It's funny that she mentioned that, but I'll get to it in a little bit. Anyway, they have removed that, and by doing that, she said that she wants to side with the chief, with the UNSC to try to end the war. Until later on, it revealed that she did do the speech to she did the recording where she said, "You will pay in stuff, humanity will pay in everything," and this catches one of the UNSC people off guard and say, "You are a traitor, you get hanged or something," until he's teleported with what Monkey and the chief are teleported to Halo again, much in the same way as Rogue was in the Dragon Ball Z the Super Bowl movie where he was teleported out when he was about to be hit by that Big Bang Kamehameha wave attack, and then saved, and then they would eventually use them for later on in fight and everything else. But besides that, Monkey uses the power of the artifact to teleport her and John away, which is very nice because it's implied that she died or is being arrested and stuff. So when he got teleported, it's just like a mind thing where he was just teleported by spirit or whatever to the Halo ring. Anyway, it also showed them as more of a lying couple together. Because apparently doing the nasty means that you get aligned with that person. And you start thinking of the person, you even start dressing alike. So anyway, during the course of this episode, they do a thing where they do like remember Halo 5 that nobody liked? Well, they did something where they took it further than the game, because in the game you have to fight Spartan Lock to feel freedom against a team of specialized Spartans that are meant to actually fight the chief. Nobody believed it at first, but yeah. And thing of it was that it's like a quick time event where they don't actually fight each other, and more like hissy fit fight type thing rather than an actual swing boss fight, which had the potential to be real awesome, but it came out to be very lame. In any case, they had it so that Cortana's actually protecting its chief against something that she knows will happen, and that she goes against her creator, Dr. Halsey, because Halsey institutes like a Order Zeta or Order Z or Omega or something like that. I don't think that's in. I know for a fact that that's not in the books. I know for a fact that she would never want to destroy or kill her precious Spartan. I guess maybe because of feminine jealousy again, because he got with Maki Redden herself. But anyway, they have two of the Spartans behind behind the door, waiting for him and Maki to go through the door so that the Spartans can ambush them. And yeah, it sounds a lot like Order 66 from the Star Wars universe, because the Halsey in their infinite wisdom must have planned for this type of event, and she wanted to, I guess, test him out and saw his allegiance and strength by having him, not in a suit or anything, fighting against two full armored Spartans. And it was kind of weird because he ordered them to fight the chief, because she programmed them to take orders only from herself, which is kind of dumb. Let's put up dumb, stupid. And I know that she had those type of megomaniacal things in mind in the books, but not to this extent. And it was very all of the action in there was supposed to be for the betterment of humanity and humanity. But because of this forced evolution, I guess she kind of figured this would be a god type thing that she could wear them to do this and that. It reminded me of, like you said, West 66 with Palpatine. So I guess that Captain Holtz would be a bad guy in this show now. Unless something happens where she becomes a good guy again. But anyway, the two Spartans actually fight with her. Well, Miss Rainbow Head is locked up and imprisoned and put on the lock and key, quite literally under one of the beds or something, or chained up with against a concrete pillar. Now I think that this kind of thing is stupid because she can easily get out of there and muscle way out of the concrete imprisonment because she got them Spartan. And it's funny because she's got like her suit on below the head, below her gear, of course, obviously, because it's good enough for the gun. It's good enough for every Spartan to go around with that helmet, without that helmet. And she also got like a what looked like disco era platform heels on, which is very funny because I thought that all Spartans wore the same gear and they were about the same height too, like over 7 feet tall and all that. So to see her with the platform heels on, it's just very funny to me. Anyway, they demonstrate her being the folly of going around without the helmet on because they show her being knocked out by these two Spartan soldiers. That's why she's in the predicament that she's in. And they just knock her head off. It's kind of funny that I can't think of when in Toy Story when Buzz Lightyear was being assaulted by Woody the cowboy, and you hear him punching his face off, and you hear him go with a squeak toy, like squeak 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 as the king punch. So that's what I imagine for the Spartan 2, that they get punched with a squeak in the head. So anyway, it showed me knocked out and put in prison and stuff, and then she easily gets away from it. Although I would imagine that it'd be a lot better for her to be, number one, taken out of the suit, number two, to have her ankles tied up to, to complete the whole tied up resistance type thing. Anyway, they have the two Spartans actually beat up on the chief. Well, Maki is being subdued by UNSC officers and whatnot. I think an MP2, I'm not sure about that. And then she reaches over for the artifact and teleports her and John away. But not before she does the, you will pay for this instantaneously, being that she was under pressure and restrained and all that, and she was giving up the fact that the Miranda found out about her little secret, that she was there to kill the chief, and therefore any hope that they could win the humans could win the war uncovered it. So anyway, they can show the two Spartans beating up on the chief, and it looks like the chief would actually win this one because he got two big weights on his two big dumbbell weights, and they show him pounding the shit out of this guy, this Spartan, and they show him pounding the kid's head in from he's like on all fours, and this guy just pounding his with his big hand. He's punching the chief's back of his head. Now, normally I wouldn't give a shit about that type of detail, but because it's the chief and because it's a hero, everyone should know that one hit in the back of the head makes a Spartan fall down faster than a house of cards. This is kind of stupid that it keeps on taking punishment from the back of the head, from the big giant Spartan super soldier being hitting him on the back of the head like 2 or 3 times, and still being able to get up and fight. That's kind of stupid. I know we're supposed to rail behind the key, but that's kind of stupid. That's like getting beaten up and then getting up out there, like Goku. Getting up out there and possibly getting beaten up and having your legs destroyed and your arm destroyed and that kind of thing. So anyway, it also showed that the Spartan shielding is kind of absurd in this show, because he showed the chief taking a pistol and shooting this guy in the body and stuff. And I forgot what the amount they shoot him with is, but Cortana says 2 more shots and his arm and his shielding will be gone, and you can kill him that way and disable him. To where I say that's all well and good, but you forgot one important thing, Cortana, that Spartan shields can recharge themselves after a certain amount of time. So even if that were true, by the time John gets done with posing and glaring at the guy, the shields will already be recharged. So you would have to empty out a whole new clip just to drop them down again. I'm telling you that this is kind of absurd. If you're gonna base the TV show on a video game or universe or a fictional thing, have it completely use the fictional rules of the universe. Don't make up shit as you go along, because the fans will notice it, like I noticed it, and it will become just as stupid as you would think it is. Besides the point about the Spartan getting lucky with that girl, which I never realized that they were gonna do it. They never mentioned anything like that in games or the books or anything like that. So anyway, it looks like the Spartan 2 has John on the ropes because hitting him on the back of the head, which beside the games, I would imagine that kind of thing would be really sensitive to get hit in the head like that by a big heavy cord like a Spartan 2's fist. On my fist. But then we have Rainbow Head over there. Give him a nice kick in the back in his back, like Frieza did. Like Frieza got Piccolo when he was about to kill Goku on Namek before he became a Super Saiyan. So it caught him off guard and it made him go flying into the equipment over there. To where the Spartan then gets a bit strange again and rams this guy with a warthog. And that's really funny. see, to see that this guy can withstand the world of war being rammed in his face. Like I said, in the games, if you come at someone with any vehicle whatsoever and you pin them against the wall, more likely that spot and be dead. Not all dead, but completely dead. Yeah, completely dead. And yeah, that was actually really kind of dumb. It was a good action scene, and it was very interesting to see a guy trying to kill his brothers and sisters. Not all hard combat training that they went through. So I don't know if at the end of all this, if they'll still go with Dr. Halsey, or they're gonna imply that they patching up by the end of the show. It'd be pretty damn stupid if they had the chief being a lone wolf again, like they imply in E08. But this show just went into really stupid territory. And I'm really surprised that they didn't have this stupid stuff with one episode. You know, you'll hear about all this bullshit about Klein being dumb and all this. But then you got the whole love making scene with John and with Maki. I feel like they should have had that part of the episode with some bear weight or something like that. That would be real funny. But anyway, yeah, even though it was shot really dumb and it was really dumb for concept and stuff, I still enjoyed the action because it was well acted stupidity. I mean, it was very stupid and dumb and stuff, but it was well acted stupidity and garbage. But it still kind of bugged me a little bit that all the spawns have the natural colors. Well, I would think that if somebody were to spend 90% of the time in a full body suit, except for your head, that you would become pasty white, like me, like pasty white like me. And yeah, I look got whipping my phone when I record stuff because it's making me kind of jumpy on that. So yeah, I thank you for watching my video on the 8th episode of the first season of Halo, because this is called Alliance, and there was more alliances than you would think, because the alliance with the Spartans and the Halsey is Maki's alliance with John in a sexual alliance. And it was funny that he was starting to be more in line with what he was thinking, what her thinking about certain things, which is kind of weird and stuff. Meaning that the chief would go with Maki instead of his duty to the war and stuff. And it was funny to see him all get almost beaten up for it. And it was kind of odd to see Halsey with Order 66, among other things. So I'm gonna give this my happy piece super cool. With the caveat that this show is that this episode is very strange and not in line with the books or the TV show or the games. And Yeah, it's very, very strange and very weird and kind of stupid. If you like what you see here, and you want to see more of my stuff, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future information on my future videos by calling me or texting me at 631-707-3707. Or if you want, you can always get me on my you can follow me on Twitter or X at the Maelstrom Pro. Also, my email is jjviewingchannel@gmail.com. So I salute all you guys and girls who like this type of sci-fi stuff and questionable morals and mixing in of different references of different media types. Also, I gotta give this show credit because along all the sexual things about this new and this and that, I do have to find it kind of funny that give a nice little booty shot of the actress that they got to play Miranda Kids. Yeah, thank you for that. You know, this show has its priority streak. Let's see here. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys in Interland. Sayonara. Ciao, ciao.